Hey, what is going on, everybody? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. What are we talking about today? We're talking about signature scents with a slight focus on autumn season, if you will. Listen, signature scent, if you're a collector, kind of like, we all are, and we like to wear a lot of different fragrances, sometimes the real definition of a signature scent doesn't really apply to us. Maybe we just like to identify fragrances that we would use or could use as signature scents, and that's basically what I am doing in this video. And to be fair, the real definition of a signature scent is something that a guy or a woman chooses to wear, all the time. That's just basically a part of their identity. It's a fragrance they wear pretty much for everything. For example, my father, Burberry Touch is basically his signature scent. He has some other options. He may choose those other options, but in general, he's going with Touch. That's how most guys use it. Us guys here in the community, we like to kind of rotate our fragrances. And even though the majority of us maybe only wear 10 to 15% of our entire collection, we still have a little bit of a rotation going. Anyway, enough with all of that. I got 8 fragrances here today that I think make great signature scent fragrances, and I do think they all can work especially well in the autumn season. With that being said, all of these can work year round as well. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get it started. Before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, first one, coming from Marc-Antoine Barras. This is Ganymede. Marc-Antoine Barras, Ganymede. Now this one has always been one that I would have considered a signature scent fragrance. I love this scent DNA. It just really works well on my skin. I think it really matches with who I am as a person. And I would say for most people, they would probably go with Essential Parfums Bois Imperial, which was also made by the perfumer of this one, Quentin Biche. It is very much a Ganymede style fragrance, but a little less of the saffron leatheriness that is there, a little bit less of that immortelle characteristic. It's a little bit cleaner, it's woody, it lasts just as long, if not longer. Certainly has been a very successful fragrance for a lot of guys. So let's just say the Ganymede DNA in general works really well for a signature scent because there are quite a few variations of it out there at this point. Outside of those other features I already listed, the leatheriness, the saffron, the immortelle, this one overall is kind of a mineralic woody fragrance. It's very ozonic in nature, does make use of violet, kind of playing into that a little bit, has this kind of mineral watery smell to it, very unique. Well, it used to be very unique. There's very many variations of this on the market at this point, but what an excellent scent DNA this is. This fragrance basically is one I would call a game changer because it introduced something new to the marketplace overall that a lot of people liked and a lot of other houses wanted to have their own take on. And most importantly, you can use it for pretty much anything, which is something you definitely want your signature scent to be able to do. Once again, from Marc-Antoine Barras, this is Ganymede. All right, next one, coming from Louis Vuitton, this is Lovers. Louis Vuitton LV Lovers. One thing about this scent and a number of fragrances from Louis Vuitton is they're simple and easy to use and smell amazing. This one here, not really a game changer, but it's so well done and so versatile that it just makes it a top-notch scent for a lot of people. I know a lot of people have gotten their bottles of this and have put massive dents in it. I mean, I got a little baby dent, obviously I wear a lot of stuff, but even I have a little bit of a dent in this. But this is a wonderful fragrance you can use for anything. What is it? It is kind of a fresh woody fragrance. Has a little bit of a play on a Santal 33 kind of woody nature, which would be like a cedarwood, sandalwood combination. I get a little bit of a muskiness from this. There's also a little bit of a bitter green characteristic with this scent coming from some galbanum. Really nice, fresh, spicy nature coming from bergamot and ginger-like notes. Awesome stuff. Again, not necessarily game changing, but it's just so well done for what it is, which is something that Louis Vuitton fragrances perfumer Jacques Cavallier-Belletru does very, very well. Takes simple things and just makes them amazing to the point where you just can't ignore them, even if they're not necessarily innovative. Once again, coming from Louis Vuitton, this is Lovers. All right, next one, coming from Jazada. This is Titanium. Jazada Titanium. Now, for most people, when they think about Giada and a signature scent, they're going to be thinking about the ambassador fragrances. And I would say those are maybe a better choice for the masses, if you will, but this one is good too. So what is this? First of all, I have talked about this before. This was sent to me by the brand some months ago, but I haven't really talked about it as much since, mainly just because it didn't fit into what I was talking about. But this one here could be a really good signature scent, especially for someone who maybe wants something a little bit sweeter, very, very modern. What is this? This is a slightly kind of fizzy, creamy, sweet, iris fragrance. Really kind of fits into the mold of like that designer realm of iris fragrances that is very, very popular. I feel like this is kind of Giada's take on that style of fragrance. Does kind of have a little bit of a cashmere, woody kind of vibe to it, but it smells sweet, inviting, really enjoyable. It's very versatile. Does smell very, very youthful, which I know some guys, regardless of their age, really like that youthful vibe in fragrances. So this one could give you that. Maybe not necessarily my first choice in terms of what I would choose for a signature scent, but I don't make all of this about me. I do try to think outside of the box a little bit, and this fragrance here can easily work for a number of things. Get a sample of it, check it out if you haven't already. Once again, from Giada, this is Titanium. All right, next one is coming from Nishane, and this is going to be Papilefiko. Nishane Papilefiko. This one here is an amazing option for a signature scent. If you like citrus and if you like really fresh spiciness, you like lavender, and you might also like balsamic resinous style fragrances, very dry and woody in nature, this is a good one to get your nose on. This one really plays heavily into like lemony notes with cardamom and lavender. That's like the first thing that might capture your attention. And overall, the fragrance is just kind of balsamic and dry. And it just really works well for a variety of occasions. Smells great on my skin. I really get really nice long-lasting power out of this one. And one thing I have often noticed with Turkish style fragrances, not all of them, but a number of them, they can almost have this really sharp kind of tang to the fragrance, if you will. And again, that's not all of them, but it's something I definitely notice if there's citrus or spice in them. This one kind of has that, but it is very well balanced. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, it's just something I notice. But it's really, really balanced in this scent. Great option for a signature scent, in my opinion. Get a sample and check it out if you haven't already. Once again, from Nishane, this is Papilefiko. All right, next one is coming from Chanel. It's Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Granted, this is a little bit of a dumb reach for a subject matter like this, but at the end of the day, it's just hard to deny that Bleu de Chanel Parfum, in my opinion, is an excellent signature scent option. And I say Parfum, that's just because that's the one I like the most. And in terms of an autumn list, I think this one fits the best because it is heavier on the woods compared to the other concentrations. Still has that citrus aromatic combination that is Chanel, or should I say is Bleu de Chanel, but this one turns up the woods, particularly the cedar sandalwood combination that is synonymous with many Chanel fragrances. And this one just does it masterfully, in my opinion. And again, as you all probably know, Bleu de Chanel is a DNA you literally can use for any and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if many people are already using this as a signature scent option, and I can't be mad at them. It works. It is what it is. Once again, coming from Chanel, this is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. All right, next one is coming from Abdul Samad Al-Qarashi, or ASQ. This is Safari Extreme. ASQ Safari Extreme. Now this one here is probably going to be the outlier on this list, where most people that are familiar with the scent may not necessarily agree with me, particularly here in the States, as this being a signature scent option. But I say that because I think the fragrance is just so classy and so luxurious in how it smells that I think you could use it, particularly if you wanted a standout signature scent. Not every signature scent needs to be something everybody is like familiar with, if you will. Why? This fragrance here is, for me, kind of a jasmine oud fragrance. Really has a lot of jasmine in here, but there's actually rose and oud. So, you know, from a note breakdown standpoint, it's rose and oud fragrance, but I get more jasmine in this than I do rose. The other thing about the oud in this fragrance is it pretty much smells like oud wood being burned as incense, not as an oud oil. That's the main thing I really love about this scent. So it has a smokiness to it, but the smokiness is not overbearing. It's not tar-like. It's just very smooth, very much in the way of how an incense would smell without blowing your head off, if you will. This fragrance is luxurious, very classy. And the other thing is it's not like super loud either. Another reason I would say it could make a really good signature scent, because you're not just gonna rip people's heads off with the fragrance. So once again, from Abdul Samad Al-Karashi, this is Safari Extreme. Alrighty, next one, coming from Ormond Jane. It's Montabaco Intensivo. Ormond Jane Montabaco Intensivo. I talked about this one, I believe, with this similar subject matter last year, and you know, I try to change it up every time I talk about it again, but the fact of the matter is, similar to Bleu de Chanel Parfum, this one is just that good for this particular talking point. So what is this? It's a fresh and woody tobacco fragrance. The tobacco in here, very clean. This has a very chilling air accord, so it's a little bit ozonic in nature. Uses fresh spices to push that, juniper as well. And it has it uses a lot of isogamma super, so cedarwood like qualities. This gives it a little bit of a dry woody nature to the fragrance, and also just a really likable sensibility to the fragrance, as well as extending the life of the fragrance a little bit. This one really lasts a long time on my skin, but it's very enjoyable, very classy, very gentlemanly. You can use it for anything, and it's also very unique. I still haven't come across many other fragrances that smell like this outside of other Montabaco fragrances. And this one is still my top recommendation. If anybody came to me and said, hey, I want to get another fragrance, you know, it's going to be kind of my main thing, but I want it to be something that's different from what is typically out there, I would tell them to check this one out. This is still my top recommendation for that. So once again, from Ormond Jane, this is Montabaco Intensivo. All right, last and certainly not least, coming from Hermes, this is Terre de Hermes Parfum. Terre de Hermes Parfum. Really any Terre de Hermes, you know, based on like the vetiver formulations, would work for this list. I just kind of chose this one mainly because I do think this one works a little bit better in the autumn season, if you will. Compared to the original, this one's a lot smoother, a little bit less of that dirty orange smell, a little bit more of a play on like a grapefruit style citrus nature. Still has the vetiver, still has a little bit of the smokiness, but it's smoothed out, and the benzoin, that kind of dusty resin that is benzoin, is really ramped up in this one. And man, I just love this stuff. Super classy. You can still use it for anything, even though it does kind of lean a certain way in my mind. I do think you can easily wear Terre de Hermes for whatever you want to. I will admit, Terre de Hermes is not going to be for everybody. It's not that signature scent style of fragrance that I would say, oh, any guy can rock. No, you do have to like vetiver, you do have to like slightly earthy or smoky fragrances, because even though this is a smoother iteration compared to the original EDT, it still has some of those characteristics. It's just not as rough around the edges. That being said, Terre de Hermes for me has always been something I consider to be a signature scent DNA. So once again, from Hermes, this one here is Terre de Hermes Parfum. All right, guys, that is gonna do it for this video. Please let me know down in the comments below, what are some of your favorite signature scent fragrances? Matter of fact, if you've got a signature scent that you consider to be, you know, something that really defines who you are, put it down in the comments below, because I would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you guys. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I'll see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.